Morning, folks. Today is actually Thanksgiving, but that will have been yesterday, tomorrow. So, anyway, hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Cindy, a couple of years ago now, I bought her a cast iron turkey cooker that goes on your campfire. It's basically 2 Dutch ovens turned. One's upside down to make the lid, but the bottom one has a cone in it that is hollow, and it works like one of those beer can chicken cookers. That goose is loud, but there he is. Anyway, because it's hollow, the smoke comes up through the bottom of that hole into the inside of the turkey, and then it's kind of, like I said, like a Dutch oven cooker. And turns out really good. But anyhow, this morning she told me to get outside and get us a campfire going. So gonna fire that up and see what my next orders are for today. It's kind of funny, you know, I split kindling with a splitting maul and that kind of thing. Split firewood with a splitting maul. And you don't really realize how much you need things like your thumb. That gouge I got in there, it's healing, but I don't know, it probably should have had a stitch or two, but they use needles for that, and I'm scared to death of needles. I would have made a horrible drug addict, but I did that years ago on the other hand, and it got to where it was smelling rotten. This don't smell rotten or nothing. I've been dumping alcohol on it. Then when I get done screaming, it feels a little bit better. But anyway, swinging a splitting maul is a little hard to do. My neighbor down here, that goose is in a good mood, I guess. Guess he's glad he's not a turkey. Anyway, my neighbor down here, he ran his thumb through a table saw and chopped it off. That would be a rough one. You know, you can live without most of your fingers, but your thumb, you kind of need that one. He seems to manage pretty well. I guess you adapt, but it's kind of a little rough. This is what that turkey cooker looks like. It's a pretty neat deal. It's like 2 Dutch ovens with one flipped upside down for the lid. Then inside you have this cone that you stuff the turkey over the top of. It's got this metal, get it out of there. It's got this metal kind of grate in the bottom, keep it off the very bottom, keep it from burning. And then inside of that cone is hollow, so the smoke comes up through the bottom and inside of the turkey, so it kind of smokes it and cooks it all at once. It works really pretty well. I got this from a second-hand store. I really didn't know what it was. Oh, and then this notch here, when it's closed, it's got a notch in both spots. You can put a meat thermometer into that to check your turkey. But I bought this pretty cheap at a secondhand store because I didn't know what it was, and neither did they, or how to use it. And they're pretty expensive. I found them on eBay. I forget how much now, but it works really pretty well. One thing I don't like about it, though, put the lid back on. Hard to do one-handed, but because the handles are so low, they're about the middle of the thing, and the turkey is sitting upwards, so it's kind of top-heavy, and it's hard to get it in and out of the fire. It really needs hooks of some sort, or a handle or something to lift it up out of there with. So I think I'm gonna, while this fire is burning down, and you need coals and not flames, while that's burning down, I'll probably throw another log on it. I'm going to run down to the shop here and try to make a quick kind of bale type of thing so you can lift it out of the fire easier. I keep whining about not having my welder. They have been working a little bit on some electrical outlets and things, but it's not done. That cord I run under the wall, they put a light in here, so that's really nice. But if I had the welder, make things a little bit easier, but I don't. So I do have oxyacetylene. There we go. That should work. That don't look too bad. Probably enough coals in there and not a lot of flame. So Cindy says we're ready. Now, this thing didn't turn out too bad. A little off center, but it should balance okay. Actually, I'm kind of glad I didn't have the welder. That turned out neater looking than just welding it. What you gonna do?
So I've been briming my turkey in this brine for basically 2 days, 48 hours. I think that's 2 days. I just took it out of it. I rinsed it a little bit in cold water, kind of had it a little bit dry. I took the lemons and limes that I had in it. I'm stuffing the cavities right there with it because I didn't make any stuffing. I don't really care for stuffing all that much.
No. With this thing, it won't work with stuffing anyway.
And then what I will do, I will take, I don't know what I'll do. Gary bought me this a while back for Christmas. We've used it a few times. If you can find something like this, I would definitely buy it.
Yeah, it works very, very well. It's a neat deal.
I'm going to stir my brine up a little bit.
I'll put that in last so I don't have to carry it out with that in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's heavy enough.
There's my turkey.
Okay. And you harpoon him onto that spike. Which seems kind of wrong, actually, but it works.
So he's a little doohickey here that pops out if you're baking him, but I don't know how well it's going to work when we put it on the fire. I try to fold his wings in a little bit. And
You
I'll
want to use some toothpicks?
Wow, that's a good idea.
Pin him in there with some toothpicks.
Just don't forget the toothpicks are in there.
Yeah.
The last time we did one of these and that, the only thing I did notice is the wings kind of got a little crispy, but I did nail them in.
I think the reason the wings got crispy is they're too close to the edge. If you fold them in like that, I think you'll be all right.
You want to get your fire going really good. You want lots of nice hot coals.
This thing is kind of a cross between one of them beer can chicken cookers and a Dutch oven. And like I said, it works really well. It's kind of a neat contraption.
And this is not one of my turkeys. It's a store-bought.
Yeah, our turkeys are very happy. Butterballs are on sale.
Yeah. And the only reason is I just have some females left. We had kind of a nasty thing. I still think it was a cougar that got some of them. And I keep the females for breeding, basically. Hopefully, some of the babies that they hatched out, hopefully I'll get a tom. If not, I have a friend that said she has an extra bourbon red. So I did that. I don't salt and pepper it because they'd been soaking in a brine with salt.
Oh, perfect. See, that's kind of evenly spaced around the edge of that cast iron. I think that's going to work better like that.
And then I'll put a cup of that brine down in the bottom just because you want the moisture in there. And but I won't do it until Gary takes it out because it gets too heavy for him.
It gets too heavy. This thing, cast iron's heavy, and then you got what is this pound?
It's 16 pounds.
16-pound bird. You got probably 30 pounds there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. 20 pounds.
In these cast iron, the two things I would do different if I was to make one is have it a lot easier to pick up and carry and a lot easier to get the lid off so that you can check the temperature. They have a little thing right here you can stick a probe in, but a lot of your probes are not that long that you can get in.
What's strange about this, I'll have to show you when you put the lid back on, it's not just here. The one on the lid, the handles and the notch don't line up. I don't know why they did it that way, unless maybe it's just to seal it better. I don't know.
But that's the only thing I think I would do different, especially because you have it over a hot fire. And Gary's got a beard somewhat.
Yeah. You don't really want to... You don't want speedy trim.
No. It'll take approximately maybe 2.5 hours. We'll have to keep... After an hour to an hour and a half, I'll check it. I'll try to run a temperature gauge in there. They say 160. We're hopeful. It actually does not take that long. It not only smokes it with the fluid in there, kind of steams it.
Yeah.
And then after it's done, I always take it off the fire. I'll bring it in the house. I'll leave the lid on for about 15 to 20 minutes. The reason you do that gives the chance for that meat to, what they call it, rest. And then it will actually absorb the moisture. I know it's hard to keep people off of it, because and usually they will brown unbelievably nice, crispy skin. So the brine was water, brown sugar. I put a little bit of liquid smoke in there, and I used butcher type pepper, and then I put a few little spices in there too.
Okay, so this turkey is almost a little bit tall, but he'll fold down some. Okay, see that notch? If the handles were lined up, The notch is way over here, or the upper one, and the bottom one's way over there. You gotta turn this clear over to there. So that, I mean, it's way off. Gotta be to seal it better. I'm not sure why they did it that way. So anyhow, so now, because I got my handy dandy hanger upper I just built, that will work good. Now you can get it in and out of there. I think I can probably hang that off of here. We don't have to set it directly into the coals, but it'll be close. Yeah, that's into the coals. Let's see.
Or maybe put it into the coals for the first hour and then lift it up afterwards.
You want it that way?
Yeah, let's try it that way first.
Let's go up just a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. It's just off the bottom. Is that all right?
Yeah, I would think so.
You want it down one more notch?
No, let's do it that way. The heat's coming up, and that was one thing I was concerned about is the last time we did this, I think by putting it up, even if it was just 1 or 2 inches, the heat would circulate better is what I was getting at.
Okay. And then you get some of these coals on the roof like a regular Dutch oven. Let's get it out in this fire pit. Okay. One of the bad things about Dutch ovens and cast iron, you can't really see inside.
You gotta kind of guess.
It got a little bit on the burnt side on the bottom, but it looks pretty good. Woohoo! Pumpkin pie too. Looks good on the inside.